Hey, welcome back to Coffee with Cagnetta, and we continue our series of New York visits here at the Theorist Podcast Studios, and they're doing a great job. So thank you guys for that. But we are very happy to have Doug Goodstein here at with us at Coffee with Cagnetta, and Doug's how do you say your company name
Does
again?
good media.
Does Good Media. And Doug has a long history of being in the production world. And I'm going to let him tell it because it's very interesting. I mean,
Yeah, it's been 30 something plus years. So,
yeah.
where do you want me to start?
Well, where'd you grow up? You grew up
Grew
in
up
New
on
York?
Long Island,
Yeah.
Brooklyn, then to Long Island.
I don't know what it is. It's like that Brooklyn to New York, Long Island, Brooklyn to Jersey. I mean, like everybody kind of seems to
Yeah.
like.
Well, it's funny before going to regress a little bit. You're clearly not from New York because you
n-
say we're coffee in New York. It's like this is coffee with
Okay.
Cagnetta in New York.
I've
Come
lost
on.
a little bit of the accent, but we'll
You did
do
in
it right.
Florida.
Yeah, I lost a little bit of it. But, talk about, you grew up on Long Island. How'd you get into quote unquote the business?
Interestingly, if I'll make a quick story, I was 10 years old and I met Spencer Christian, who used to be the weatherman and also did human interest stories on Good Morning America.
Right.
Met him doing a Little League story in my town, and I fell in love with the camera. And he embraced me, and he's like, "Come under," took me under his wing for the day or two that they were filming,
Wow.
and I just fell in love with it, and I never lost that passion and that infatuation with the camera.
So
And that was it.
did you go to school for that?
I did. Yeah, I went to University of Hartford,
Oh,
studied
nice.
communication and journalism. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be a reporter,
Right.
and actually started 2 days after graduation at ABC News at the top. So I started for the Republican convention, the Democratic convention in 1992. Then I got hired for World News Tonight,
Yeah. Well, I
and
was going to ask if that was your first job.
yeah, it was the first job. So started at the top, and that actually chiseled away at what I wanted to do, being a reporter, because I didn't like it.
Wow.
It was too serious. It was too hardcore. It was too intense. No one was joking around. I like having fun.
Right.
And not that I didn't have fun with some of my other colleagues, on my level, but at the end of the day, it was serious subject matter, and no one wanted to
Right.
be around and
Who was
just
the
make
host at
jokes.
the time?
Peter Jennings.
Oh, of course, Peter Jennings, the
Yeah.
Peter Jennings.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was interesting. So then you did a little stint where?
I didn't like it, so I sent my resume in the mail, blind, to about 30 places in New York City.
Wow.
And one of them was E! Entertainment Television, who happened to have a show in the process of being developed. And they didn't tell me what it was. And I said, "Oh, maybe you'll be a good fit for this show." And it was just to show you how the oddest connections can like connect you to a job. So I worked for one shoot for a crazy director. I won't say his name, and doing a commercial
Right.
in between. This is a freelance job while I was already at ABC, and I put it on the resume. It was a film, it was film. It was
Right.
something different than news. And the guy I sent the resume to at E, who was developing the Howard Stern show, worked for that same director. So he called me. I think a lot of it was curiosity to say, we got to compare war stories, because that's what he did. He's tell me what it was like working for that nut. And I'm like, you tell me what it's like.
Oh, wow.
So, and that was it. We just became really friendly. And one thing I never forget, and I tell people all the time, and I've had hundreds of interns under me, and I work with interns and supervise interns. I remember what I did with this guy, Scott, and I tell interns, and still to this day, ask for the job.
Hmm.
So Scott was like, I think he used the word, and I know he used the word, I think we have a job. I said, Scott, give me the job. I won't let you down.
Wow.
And I think that resonated.
Yeah.
It's just ask for the job.
Wow. By the way, to all the young kids out there, I think that's two really great lessons right there. Number one, you sent your resume out to like 30 something places, like
In the mail.
in the mail.
They don't even know what that is.
I know, but it means like you get out there and take your shot.
Yeah.
And then number two is when you do get that opportunity, you get face to face with someone, tell them that
Ask for it.
ask for the job. But I really like your second statement was, I'm not going to let you down.
Mhm.
You just immediately
You gotta
instilled
be
that.
other how do you stand out? If he was interviewing 30 people,
Right,
whatever, I don't even know. I didn't even ask him ever how many people applied for it, but I just
right,
said, "I won't let you down.
right.
Just give me the job." And I stared him right in the face, and I guess it worked out. I was
So
landed there for 19 years and took
19
over as the executive producer. So,
and you that was a pretty public job.
a little more than I liked, yes.
Right. I mean, you were kind of dragged into a lot of situations in that job that it was part of the shtick of the show.
Yeah, the fabric of the show was that if you, drop a napkin on the floor, it could become fodder for the air. So it didn't matter what it was. There was nothing you could do right there without potentially being in the crosshairs, which was fun. Kept you on edge. Every day was totally different. Every day was fun.
Right.
And yeah, but there was an edge to it, like, oh, did I do something wrong? If you hear your name, you're like, you just it was eggshells. So,
Yeah,
but
and
that was,
it's a tough place to last for so long, and you lasted a long time.
yeah.
So you decided, hey, this is not for me anymore. I got to move on.
Well, it wasn't really my choice, but
Right.
the contract ended and they didn't renew the contract. And there wasn't really a TV contract per se, the way it was with E and Howard TV for at least 3, 4 years. There was no deal. And then they ultimately took it over and brought the video team internally,
Right.
which I believe now doesn't exist the
Right.
way with like a full dedicated team.
Right.
So as far as I know.
Right. So what did you pick up doing after that?
After that, I went and started up a show called The Breakfast Club, which was a morning radio show, and they were putting it on TV. So I did that for about a year, and then I sort of gave it like 7 or 8 months on my own, try to figure things out. And I landed a job. In the course of that, someone came to me and said, "We think we have an opportunity," and it was for Mark Levin in politics. So, and conservative politics, which I wasn't. I'm a libertarian, so it
Right.
wasn't really. I was like, "Oh, I
Oh,
don't know
good.
about this,"
Realigned.
but ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm a producer.
Right.
So you don't want to be too far removed from the subject matter you're producing, but also you can disconnect and just produce a show.
Right.
There's some people at certain networks that I know for a fact have no interest in the subject matter they produce. But
I always wondered that.
yeah, yeah, but it's a job, and you do your job, and you just do it well, and then
Right.
that's it. You don't wear your colors on your sleeve, and you just do it professionally, and that's. But it wasn't like that with Levin. But it was fun. It was interesting. It was educational. It was informative. It was a good gig. And then we started up the Fox show, Life, Liberty, and Levin
Right.
on Fox, which is still airing. Both of them are still airing, Levin TV and Fox, just with much, much smaller teams. I think it was like 20, 25 of us, and I think they're down to 4 people now. So, yeah.
So you decided to go out on your own?
Yeah, well, I went out after Levin. It was the other side of politics for the Lincoln Project.
Yeah, of course.
For about 4 months, they did a pilot program of about 20 shows. We did 20 live shows, and then that ended abruptly for everyone. And I was like, "What do we do here?" Started thinking to go on my own a little bit, and then something hit.
COVID.
COVID.
Wow.
And then it was not a choice because now there was no work. Everything was just basically shut down and shows are out of production. And it was like that pivot to let's do shows on Zoom, establish shows on Zoom. You couldn't really pitch shows. So I started doing videos for free for the most part, for small businesses in my community
Right.
to help them out because everyone was struggling. They were doing this curbside pickup, and I just proactively approach businesses. I knew a lot of them, started with people I know, friends, and I started making little videos like social media videos just to promote the business and explain what they're doing. And it resonated with me, working with businesses. I like that individual, that one-on-one connection, not a huge, massive team, immediate feedback, immediate results that you could measure. And yeah, it just struck a chord, and I stuck with it for a while, did 50, 60 of those. And from there, I was like, this is not really sustainable when we started coming out of
Right.
COVID. So I got a local job at a production company, still in COVID. Um, and I had a weekly, a regular job. It was like a
Right.
freelance job, but I was working, and it was opened my eyes to corporate video more,
Mm.
even more outside the small business, but more corporate stuff and non secular stuff and charitable videos. And I just was like, yeah, this makes sense. Like this, I like this. And worked for another company in New York City. Am I boring you? Tell me.
No, no, this is great. I mean,
And yeah, so worked for another company here in New York City, bigger clients, IBM, Ernst& and Young, Nokia, Shopify, a company called Skillsoft, CVS. So now it was the big brands. And then I really was like, this is cool. And I just decided to go on my own and do it. Some of the contacts that we landed some jobs there were my contacts. I'm like, I'll just do this on my own. I'm still really close with the guy that owns that company. And we talk and we will collaborate when we can. And that's it. Now I've been on my own and I landed sustainable, consistent clients
and
doing
you're there
video.
to help them tell their stories or give instruction videos or
We do every kind of video. We do educational, tutorial, overviews, product launches, testimonials, instructional videos, commercials, fundraising videos, gala videos, you name it, we'll do it.
right.
I don't say no.
Yeah,
I told you
you were
before.
saying that. That's a great philosophy. I
Yeah.
mean, you're out there and you're on your own business and you won't say no.
Because I know someone 1 degree away that can do it, and I have the absolute confidence that I'm never gonna step away and just outsource it and be like, "Just here's a project, do it for me, white label it." No, I won't do that. I'll never step away. I'll be involved 100% of the time. But if someone says, "I need, X, Y, and Z," I'm like, yeah, sure, we do that." You just
I think that's part of
and
being
it's
an
not that I don't
entrepreneur, right?
yeah, absolutely, it's definitely entrepreneurial, and I don't think that's deceptive at all because
No.
they're getting exactly what they want. It's just you don't need to know how the, steak is made, right?
Well, they're buying you, right? At the
Yeah,
end of the day, they're
they're
buying
right,
you,
and they're never gonna be disappointed. I haven't had one
right?
client disappointed yet.
Because you're going to work your butt off and
Mhm.
make sure it gets done right.
Yeah, I work as hard as I did when I was, like, 20 years old, right out of or 22 years old, right out of school. Just
Right.
that passion has never ceased,
Right.
ever.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, so in and you were interesting because I think it's interesting to talk about entrepreneurialism and how it's changing, right? So there's a lot going on. There's AI, which we could talk about a little bit, but I think
Yeah.
one of the interesting things you told me as we were talking as leading up to this was that you could be a organization of 1,000 people tomorrow if you needed to be.
I
Like it's
could
really
yeah.
flexible these
Yeah,
days.
I know a lot of people this goes back a few years now, but the whole production business is upside down right now. If you want developing shows, selling shows, what shows get made, the budgets, there's shrinkage and consolidation with the entire business. Just because the paradigm shift, what's going on now is that there's no destination television. There's people don't watch television. They
No, they
watch
don't.
30 seconds, if that, on their phones on social media
Yeah,
and swipe,
TikTok
and
or
that's enough
whatever,
to
right?
consume and enough to know about sometimes a show. I mean, I guess Love Island is the exception now that's a destination show, and some others for sure, but it's just a different shift. So everything's consolidated and it's just very different. Your question was?
Is it yeah, but it's just being flexible these days. It's being like
Yes, yes.
being able to not
So
have a big team, but that
absolutely.
helps you actually.
Yes, yes. So the big team thing, yeah, I could accordion out. I could say the accordion model. So if I need 3 people on a shoot, I got it. If I need 30 people on a shoot, we make some phone calls and we produce and we create a team. We get a production manager. We just accordion out and we'll have 10 camera crews on a shoot if we need. But yeah, there's no reason to have an infrastructure that's massive when you don't have, if you don't know what shoots could accommodate
Right.
that infrastructure. And then you're just stuck with equipment. So even all my camera crews, they're all freelance.
Right.
Why should I buy $50,000 when in 6 months the equipment's going to be outdated already,
Right.
which is what's happening.
Wow. And in the industry, which I think is fascinating. So obviously your bread and butter these days, keeping the lights on, is making content for companies that could pay for it, right? And they
Yeah.
need that content.
Yeah. And doing it really well, in
Right.
my opinion. Not to pat myself or
No.
sound cocky, but we do it really well.
Right. And then like what's the model these days for like or what's hot right now? Maybe the Billy Joel documentary, two
Yeah.
episode documentary. Like what's the economics of that? Like how do you are people taking bets on that and saying, "Okay, let's produce this and see if it works?"
Well, yes, that is it sounds like you know how
No,
things are.
I
Yes,
mean
a
I've
lot
a
of
little bit.
some of the model is shifting where independent films, like for in the film business, filmmakers are making their movies independently. So like tons of movies, even from some companies that are pretty big names, are still independent films. They will make the film and then try to sell it after it's done.
Wow.
So doing that with a reality show, I don't think as much, but you could go out and shoot a sizzle reel or a concept reel for like a minute or two and get the whole concept done. Because reading it on paper is one thing, but seeing it is another thing. But it's very different. Pretty much every single person I know is either struggling or has left the business or trying to reinvent themselves. Which again, you just got to stay positive and be confident in your abilities. And I tell people like, don't ever give up. And I know a few people who were big network executives who were out of work and really struggling, and they both landed on their feet phenomenally,
Right.
in huge roles now,
So
recently in the
so
last month.
what's the future out there, with AI and those kind of things?
Well, AI, I'm torn with AI. I love AI and I hate AI.
Right.
I hate AI to create content that's trying to tell a story with a personal connection because it's you can't do that.
Right.
You need human beings and you need the real people and you need real stories and you need real emotion and authenticity and organic footage to really evoke the emotion and the compassion and just to bring you into a story. When you put AI, I could someone showed me something yesterday, and within 1 second, he goes, "Oh, check this out." I go, "It's AI." He goes, "How do you know?" I go, "Because I could tell."
Right.
So the trained eye, and I think, do people care? Yes and no. It depends on the content. Like if you're trying to tell a story, like we do a lot of healthcare videos, medical videos. If I were to tell a story of a doctor and a patient, I'm using AI images. Like there's no connection. It's not
Yeah,
real.
it looks weird
Yeah, it would be
still.
weird. So you
Right.
need that human connection.
Right.
But I do use AI for voiceovers now, which is I feel terrible about it because it's a lot of great people that I used to work with who do voiceover, and I don't use them anymore because it takes a
2
thousand
seconds.
times
Right.
longer, and this is 1,000 times cheaper and 1,000 times quicker,
Right.
and it sounds great.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
this is not AI talking to you right now. So what would be your advice to young people these days
Mm.
trying to
Well, I do give advice to young people because I'm an
Yes.
adjunct professor at Hofstra
Oh, there
University
you
as
go. You went
well.
back. Good for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So I just did my first semester last spring. The advice would be to just be a Swiss Army producer. And what that means is you open up a Swiss Army, there's a screwdriver, there's a plier, there's a knife, there's scissor. You got to do everything. You got to know how to do everything. Don't just isolate and target, your bullseye on. I want to be a cameraman. I want to be an audio guy. I want to be a lighting guy. You got to be everything.
Right.
And if you're not going to be good at everything, you at least got to know how to do a little bit of a lot.
That's
Yeah,
pretty interesting
yeah,
because I always consider myself a jack of all trades, a master of none. Like I think, but
yeah,
I think that's been like turned into a it's kind of a strength at this point.
yeah, yeah. The chameleon.
Right.
You need me to do that? I'll do it. You need me to do that? I'll do it.
Well, it sounds like your whole
And also here, aside from that, I think this is probably the most important. Don't huff and puff and don't complain.
Mm.
Just do the job. If I hire someone any level, if I hear ugh, ugh, or rolling the eyes, goodbye.
right.
Don't want to hear it
You don't want to hear it.
because
We're here to do a job.
and not only that, it's just so hard to get jobs in this business. Even though there's so much, there's never been more content, but there's also never been less jobs. It's bizarre. Everyone is a content creator, so everyone works independently. But on working on shows, it's different. Teams are smaller, everything's shrinking. But yeah, don't huff and puff and don't complain. Just be happy.
Okay. It's great advice. Doug, if somebody wanted to get in touch with Doug Z's Does Good
My
Media
cheat sheet. Yeah.
.com?
Doesgoodmedia.com. And then we have a page, doesgoodmedia.com, our work. You'll see it. And it's about 15, 20 samples of our work
Yeah,
there.
if you want real stuff with real stories, with real people, and shining through it, that's not easy to do. I believe it, right? Because we've tried. You know, it's you need someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, Does Good Media.
There you go.
There you
Well,
go.
we're ready for it. So, Doug, thanks for
Yeah.
coming in
Oh,
today.
my
I really
pleasure.
appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
buddy.
Thank you for coffee
With Cagnetta
in New York.
in New York.
There we
Coffee
go.
with Cagnetta in New York. Thank you for being here today. Look forward to seeing you next time with Coffee with Cagnetta.